I don't know. And again, it's like, if we look at what Fuel are trying to do, again, like they're cutting back, they're absorbing, they're not really committing anything, they're just kind of skirmishing. Like you can see these bubbles from Fearless, really, really nice bubbles from Fearless. Because all they want to do is keep taking little bits of chip damage. And the whole time Doha, like Doha doesn't really have the greatest like spam angles with like versus Houston, but that's fine. Like all they're taking is a bit of chip damage. Fearless drops this bubble, they stabilize in the bubble, and then they use the healing to build the coalescence, and you see there's no hesitation from Fielder. And like I think this is why I mean I assume as well this is why Dallas do so well and like gonna be so dominant is because they just don't hesitate at all whenever they get the ults, right? As soon as Fielder builds his coalescence, they're in. And like because they go so fast, you can tell that they have great comms because again there's no hesitation. The whole team is ready to go in. So Fielder the entire time he's gonna be saying, you know, I'm 10% to call, 5% to call. You know, have it, let's go, let's go, let's go. No hesitation from Dallas, they push in the kill. So very nice start from Dallas. Very nice. Differences obviously between the Sig and the D.Va, it's not really too important. It just means you're gonna have more spam. Your Sig can set up on an angle and again just spam. But if you're trying to go super fast and you're trying to int in every fight, then D.Va's usually better because not just because Matrix lets you close distance, but also because D.Va can dive people that get split, right? So like you see Piggy right now on the left of the screen, he's kind of like split from the team. As Dallas rush in, you know, if Piggy wanted to, or sorry, if Hambin wanted to, he could go for Piggy. You know, he could just boost in and, into him and go for it. You know, same goes for like Crimzo in the back. If there's ever a chance to go for the Batiste, then the D.Va can go in and fly for it. So it's like if you're trying to play super fast and keep rushing in, then like the D.Va's usually what you want to lean towards. Happy just ints, Happy just dies. Again, that's takes like a 3-tap at the start and then gets walled up and just gets shot. Again, this is kind of a weakness of not having the D.Va, is that you don't have the Matrix for your like first rotations. But like, it's nice to see Dallas commit so hard here. Like they all get out really fast. They've obviously practiced these rollouts. Nice wall from Doha too. Nice boosters from Hambin to get control of like the pillar in the middle. And it looks like they should just clean up everything here. Yeah, nice, GG. Oh, yeah, I saw this. This is like, it's taken teams so long to work out how to use SimTP. And like, I saw this on Havana as well. Because like you have these maps where you have two really, really tight chokes that the enemy have to push out of, but they're too far away to rotate between. So you have this kind of mind game of like, oh, which way they're going, which way they're not going. You know, on this map, you need someone like up, like a window to the top left. I wonder if we'll see it in a minute. Yeah. So like the window top left, like you usually have someone there scouting. But even if you have someone scouting, it's kind of awkward to get there in time. It's really nice to see teams actually using TP to like counteract that. And like I saw this on Havana as well, which has the same issue if you're trying to spawn hold first point. They're really, really nice TPs. Seen a lot of Sigma lately, sometimes with the Hanzo. It's not always played on a hard off angle. It's more that like you have a shitload of spam and you have the rock potential as they're pushing into you with the stuns. I mean personally I like D.Va because like if your team is playing like nice and fast, the D.Va is like better at controlling the angles because you can just like boost into people and kill them. But like teams that are kind of weaker playing that style, it's easier for them to play like Hanzo Sig, just because it's like if you have Hanzo Sig and they have like free D.Va, the enemy team's always kind of under pressure to push into you and fight you. And if the enemy team's always under pressure to push and fight you in those kind of like longer fights, then you have a kind of easier time because if the fight just lasts ages, you're going to put out more damage. You know, you got more shields, got more damage. Your Hanzo ult you can get lows out of. The Sig ult you can get lows out of. So it's like, I wouldn't say it's like a fallback for the weaker teams, but it's a little bit easy. It's a little bit easier to play Sig. Like a little bit easier to play Sig Hanzo. And like, it's almost a safer pick, pressing the existing advantage between teams. Yes, no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's just like, it's difficult to synergize pushing stuff. It's difficult to synergize like pushing at exactly the same time. Because if your D.Va gets tagged out, or your D.Va goes for an off angle, or like pushes someone on an off angle at a slightly different time that the rest of your team rushes in main, then you just kind of fall apart. Whereas if you're playing the Sig and the Hanzo, you have more freedom. You know, you can get away with more mistakes. I don't like this symbol. I mean, it's nice. It's nice that it comes out early, but like, it's a funny position. Doha dies going for their freeze, but again, it's not too bad. Like, obviously, I'm watching this knowing that Dallas kind of win the whole thing. But like, even without knowing that, I really like just how hard Dallas just go every fight. You can't afford to get shattered there too. This is happening a lot with Houston actually. Is that they're kiting back in different directions. But no, you can't afford to get shattered there. If you can't fight, you just cut back. No hesitation on the push. No hesitation on the sound barrier from the Jexay or Yexay. But like, even though Dallas like lose Doha breaking the choke, oh, the sim TP, no hesitation on the TP and the Diva Bomb too. This is amazing. Like this is how you got to play these comps too. And like this is why Dallas are getting so much out of. I think they've played sim as well later on like the Blizzard World. But like, again, like it doesn't matter the position that Dallas are in. As soon as they see a solution, like they have a Diva Bomb, they have a TP, so they can push, they can do something. As soon as they see that opportunity, they don't hesitate and they just go for it. And like, because they're doing that, it's the way they're able to get away with so much. Whereas Outlaws, they're spending the entire time trying to figure out what Dallas are doing. You know, it doesn't matter that Dallas have a sound barrier and a sim TP, because they never get a chance to like set up a play around it. Like if the sound, I think the sound barrier does come out now. Actually. I think we just saw it, but like Juby's sound barrier now doesn't let them do anything apart from try and survive a Diva Bomb, you know? Whereas Fuel, their sound barrier, even though just now, where is it? So like Fuel, it's like they come out and they push. Even though the sound barrier here, actually, does it even come out as a response? See the timings. Yeah, so even though the sound barrier here from Jexay comes out as a response to Piggy's ult, what it is Jexay will be calling in comms that he has sound barrier, he's super close to it, he's 90%. So Dallas are playing super aggressive because they know they have to beat. So it's like, even though the beat comes out like delayed as a response to Piggy pulling his Sigma ult, they're still playing with the beat aggressively, right? Whereas like the beat that we see in a few seconds time from Juby, assuming he's still alive actually, I didn't actually check who died, but like I don't think Juby's actually there. Maybe I'm just bullshitting. Oh, he is there. Yeah, the beat that we see from Juby here again, it's purely responsive. It doesn't allow Houston to take any angles. It doesn't allow Houston to take positions, force enemies out. All it does is it keeps Piggy alive from a Diva Bomb. That means nothing, right? And again, there's no hesitation from Doha with the male too, right? And it's like maybe this is like a little bit of an overall with the male, but I'd much rather that teams are committing and not afraid to commit if they're not sure whether the fight's won or lost, and delay the ult. Because like Hanbin using his ult early or Doha using that ult early, same with Jexay with the sound barrier. If you use the ult early, as soon as you see an opportunity, it's the signal to the rest of the team, like what resources you're using, how aggressive you're playing. Like you're signaling to the rest of your team that you're committing. Whereas like, if you have those three ults, you have like sound barrier, Diva Bomb, like male, and you're not sure whether the fight's won or lost. You're not sure. Oh, should I use it? Should I not? Are we going to overall? You end up with like 3 people delaying. So then you get a disadvantage because you're not using the resources, and then like all 3 of you will pull them later on in the fight. Whereas if you have one person who's like super decisive and says like, oh, I'm in a situation I can use a Diva Bomb and I can get value out of the Diva Bomb, then it's a clear signal to everyone else on the team who has their ults, like how aggressive the team's playing. It's a clear signal whether they need to use their ult anyway, right? So it's like, it's good to be decisive with the ults, even if you might not need them, right? Because it means you're less likely to waste other ults that you have on the team. And it's just like a lot of what happens in Overwatch, and like this is kind of what coaching is all about as well, is that it's like, it's an answer to the problem of like, how do you get 6 players to play together as one, right? Like how do you get 6 players to play together as one? And the answer to that is like, you go over lots of theory with the players, so that the players know how a comp is played. They know what the rest of the team is going to be doing in the default situations. The answer to that question is building good communication structures so that when Fearless on Reinhardt wants to go in, all he has to do is say a couple of words, and the whole team's ready to go in with him, right? But there's also kind of like cheat codes for that. Because again, it's like, how do you get the team to play as one? If your team hears you use an ultimate, if your team hears you use a diva bomb, they know exactly what's happening. If a team hears you use a mail, they know exactly what's happening. You know, no communication required, right? So it's like being decisive and opening with ults all the time. It does so much because you can skip all of that theory practice. You can skip all of the comms. Like you don't even need communications for these opening ults, right? Just because as soon as the team hears them, they know exactly what's going on. There's no confusion about what the team's trying to go for. Whereas if you have a team that hesitates and doesn't use the ults as soon as they see the opportunity, they end up kind of yapping at each other and talking about, oh, can we do this? Can we do this? Can I do that? And you never want that situation. Because if you're a team that's talking like that and talking, oh, can I do this? Can I do that? And the enemy team is just committing as soon as they see an opportunity, then you'll never ever get a chance to set up your ults and set up your plays. Like that's basically what's happening now. I know this map is kind of even, like 60% to 50%, but like from what I've seen of this match, that's what happens like throughout the whole of this match. So if they see an enemy pop up on an angle, they can go straight after it. They can punish it. Whereas if a 6 sees someone pop up on an angle, he can shield it, but he can't really do like that much about it. Anyway, so like they do this TP here, which again they're not really under that much pressure to go for. It's not too bad. It's a nice symbol, but they get a little bit fucked up. Again, it's like even though they're losing these fights, because honestly these fights are ones that they don't need to go as aggressive with. They can take a little bit more time to set them up. Like the reason their previous aggression was working so well is because they had positions to be able to get away with playing that aggressive. But like that fight there, like they didn't really have the positions to get away with playing that aggressive. Whereas if they'd spent just like 2 seconds, 3 seconds getting better positions, how do they get out of here for free? If they spent like a couple more seconds like setting up positions before they played aggressive with the ults, you know, then they would have like had much better solutions. You know? Like, and that's kind of other part of creating these solutions as well, is that you do need to earn the positions like before you have the solutions sometimes. Anyway, so yeah, Fuel are obviously, they're going to look to rotate, they're going to look to use cooldowns, whatever they have, ults, whatever they have, take some positions that they can stabilize in, right? And like what Dallas need desperately is some control over point and a position they can stabilize in. And like stabilizing for this comp is literally just a position where is literally just a position where like Fearless can stand, drop his bubble, Ambin can do some matrix, and then they can overlap the healing of the moira lucio. So they need a nice position where they can do that. So after they've used their CDs, you know, they've used their matrix, they've used their monkey bubble, they've used half their health balls. They need to trade those things for a position where they can chill out for a little bit, heal up with the lucio moira, and they'll just go through multiple cycles of that until they have ults, until they have EMP, until they have coalescence, and then they'll use those ults to kind of int and commit. Outlaws is kind of awkward playing into this comp as Outlaws comp, but you have a lot of brawl potential. Like the Brig's good, the Kree's good, the Ana is good, zarya as well is decent. Like you can still fight this comp. You're not afraid of you're not really afraid of Dallas's comp. Dallas rotate under. Gangu does like an early slam with zarya bubble. Fine. Why are you playing so far back? What are they doing over there? Was it not like communicated that like, sorry, what? Yeah, what are Outlaws doing so far back? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't communicated that like Dallas came back through main. Yeah, but like Django should be scouting it the whole time, and even then, even if Fuel are coming out top, you need to fight them. You can't run away from them. Like Ana, Brig, like you have Ana, you have Brig, you have Zarya, you have Kree, like 4 players that can hit cooldowns to completely destroy Dallas's push. Maybe this is like bot analysis, but like no, it's not actually. No, it's not bot analysis because it's like Jake, he can hit whip shot, he can hit a stun. You know, Crimzo 1 sleep, 1 nade. Biggie has bubbles to trade against, you know, Reaper damage and Diva missiles, shit like that. Happy can roll away, he's got flashbangs, so he's got damage. Like all you need to do is hit like 1 or 2 of those cooldowns, and you will survive the speed boost that Dallas are using to push onto you. Really, really strange. Because again, it's like playing versus this comp, you need to be in a position to either stop them speed boosting onto you or survive the speed boost when it comes onto you, right? But like, you can do that with your comp. Django and Dante just get found on point and killed. Like, I don't know if this is like a scouting mistake or if Outlaws have been told to like run away versus this type of comp. But you can't just run away. Like, you're not trying to run away from the comp. Django could have helped him though. Django was on hut. He was able to, like, from the position Django's in now, Django is able to grapple, like, kind of in the middle of the script, where like Fielder's portrait is. He can, like, grapple up there and then still get a slam onto his team. So, like, I'm really not sure. I think maybe Django, like, didn't call that they went back main. Or maybe, like, after first map, where they got absolutely steamrolled by the lucio moira, they were told that they needed to play passive. But, like, they don't need to play passive. They need to take a setup that lets them catch the speed boost. And, like, when you're playing to catch the speed boost, you are kind of playing passive, but there's a really important difference between the two. Look where I really don't know. The 2 players down, they kite this out. They've given up all the point control. They've given Fielder 80% of coalescence charge as well, which is really, really bad. The ball tracer should get back. Okay, so they are actually starting to come on high ground here. You'll jump up. Fielder's stuck in the door. Okay. It's interesting, but Fielder can't. Okay, so like, you know what I was saying before about how like this comp is looking for positions where they can stabilize. So like, where Fielder is now is not really one of those positions. Like, again, it's not too bad, but Fielder probably wants to be like kind of where Jexe is, or where Sparkle is, or even like in the mega. Because he needs to rotate with the team, and this is like, I know they're just kind of diving for space. Sparkle's committing a bit hard here. It's kind of awkward. Fielder dies. I think Fielder dies because he says it. Again, it's like, it's really important for like, especially like Ana players and Moira players and stuff to understand is that like with the way that most comps are being played at the moment, it's very rare that you want to anchor a position. It's very rare that you want to like Fielder's position he had like was fine like a second ago when his team was playing on point. But as soon as his team starts to go for a play and do something, he also has to change position. Like, not even if he was playing Ana, he'd want to change position because it's like you really don't want to anchor at all. Like, you want to move with the team. You want to take control of like, you want to kind of leapfrog from position to position, like these little positions. So like right now, Fielder's team they can reset and what's it called, stabilize around him where he is. If he then pushes to where like Sparkle is or where Jexe is or in the mega, they can then stabilize in there, right? And when you're attacking, like with these types of comps, you want to kind of leapfrog from those positions, right? But Fielder kind of gets left behind here. And he still should have a chance to fade into the mega. I'm not sure where does it. I think this is kind of Fuel messing up their chance to like, yeah, the rest of the team's in the mega. I don't know. He shouldn't die here. Like, I don't know what catches him out and what doesn't let him rotate with the team, but he needs to rotate with the team. They just get caught out for it. But he was doing very well with that on the first map, so hopefully it was just like a one-time mistake. You still get loads of ults, and you still get, you know, like two ticks, so it's not too bad. You rotate up onto him again, and once again, Houston is just running away. Django does the grapple this time, actually. He's ready to slam. Does he get it? I don't think so. I think he just boops them. I really don't like that Houston aren't taking a fight around these doors. I really don't like it at all. I think the whole team, like, the whole of Houston's backline should be kind of where Doha is here, holding the doorways, looking to hit the cooldowns, looking to hit, you know, brick stuns and nades and crease stuns. Like, you need to fight them. You need to fight them. If you don't fight them, Dallas are going to be able to stabilize every time and just keep building their ults, and you'll just lose to the ults. You need to fight them. You have a nano here that you can use. Now, use it now on Piggy. If Piggy's playing with Doharis, use it now. Put Jake on the doorway with a nano. Like, you have so many options. Yeah, Fielder should have rotated into the Mega Room, definitely. Like, it's fine if he's on point at the start while the team's kind of setting up. You don't want to play under, like, Annas and breaks areas too much. Like, but then as soon as this team's actually going for a play, then they can definitely play in the Mega. But now, like, now it's like, put Jake on the doorway where Dohar is. Just put him on the doorway where Dohar is and tell him he's going to get Nano. Or Nano Piggy, because Piggy's so close to Grav. Like, you have so many options. You have a 225 health McCree that can play there. It's not going to take you very long to waste Hanbin's Matrix. And as soon as Hanbin's Matrix is gone, you have free nades, free sleeps, free flashbangs, like free grabs as well. You know, it's not going to take long to get to that point. But why are you playing so passive? Why are you running away from it? I really don't know. I don't even think that Dante there on the back of the screen. I mean, Dante, I don't really care about. Dante usually does fine. This isn't even a slam from Django. Is it? That's not a slam, right? No, it's not. It's not even a slam from Django. He's just being there. He's just rolling in and giving himself 500 extra health. He's like, for Houston to succeed versus this comp, they have to play aggressive with the backline. They have to punish Dallas's rotations where they can. They have to commit to fights around strong positions like they could have been in a couple of seconds ago. And Django and Dante have to kind of punish Dallas's speed boost. And the way that Django and Dante can punish the speed boost is Dante sets up in a position where he can pressure Fielder. They just play, he kind of hides behind them. Then as soon as Dallas start to go in, Dante pops up and starts pressuring Fielder. The way that Django punishes it is that he looks for a slam whenever Dallas start to commit the speed boost. And Django's in a position to do this here too. He can see them rotating. He knows exactly how long it's going to take them to come out. He does his grapple at basically the right time. But he doesn't even slam it. He just kind of drops into them. I have no idea. That's a pretty cute high noon from the opposite high ground from Happy. But it's not gonna save the team. Once again, it's difficult to see actually. But like once again, it looks like Houston's backline back up in like 4 different directions too. Like Crimso's still on high ground. Piggy rotates down to the right of the screen. Jake gets stuck in the corner. I'm not sure. This is terrible. Whereas like, if you had Piggy playing more aggressive, I'll pause it when I think he should have stayed there actually. If you had Piggy playing here, right, knowing he's going to get Nano, you're forcing out the cooldowns that Dallas are using to push you. So you're forcing out the coalescence, the speed boost, you know, the matrix and stuff. You're forcing them out earlier, so that they can't use them to chase you down and kill you, because you're forcing them out earlier by starting the fight earlier. I don't know. I think Atlas did a terrible job here of starting a fight, and we don't even get a slam from Django. I don't know. Really, really bad. It's a cute high noon. It's quite a cute high noon, but it's not gonna do anything. Not gonna do anything at all. Django should be playing close with a nano. He should be, or even Jake playing close with a nano, and Django should be saying, "I'm gonna grab as soon as I get it. Wait for my grab. Wait for my grab. Wait for my grab." And Piggy should be saying, "Wait for my grab." Right? Django should be saying, "I'm gonna slam. I have mines." You know, Dante should be saying that he's pressuring Fielder, right? But like, you can just tell that none of that's happening. So I really don't know. I really don't know. And lovely mines from Django there. Really gonna clutch the fight with that one. But that's fine. Outlaw Sop 2 is a better comp now. It can work. No slams, just vibes. Exactly. I literally don't know. He didn't even boop them. He just kind of popped up next to them and pressed E. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, so obviously point B Volskaya, much easier situation to catch these dives with. Much easier situation to catch the engages with. It's a nice opening engage from Dallas. Good EMP, very good EMP. Somehow Django and Happy, the two players that should be playing to pressure Fielder when Fielder pushes in, are getting EMP reported at the start of the fight. Like, I don't know if they really had time to set up. God, Piggy is terrified of this EMP. Why? Like, could Piggy not just like? I've just seen Django like come out come out using his what was Jangi doing? What on earth was Jangi doing 2 seconds ago that means he's using his shields and he's fighting? What was he doing? What could he possibly have been doing there? I don't know. The only thing that Jangi, Dante, and now Happy as well have to do, set up on a flank at the start of the fight, make sure that Dallas are playing together as 6, which Dallas are usually trying to do anyway, and then they pressure fielder and go for the counter slams or whatever whenever Dallas start committing the speed boost. At the same time, Piggy, Crimzo, and Jake need to look to start fights. They need to look to pressure the enemy team. They can't let Dallas just walk up for free and use cooldowns after Dallas have closed distance. Dallas have to spend cooldowns closing distance, right? If they don't spend cooldowns closing distance, then Dallas will still have the cooldowns that they need to chase Piggy into the spawn, to chase Crimzo into the spawn. Right? So you don't want to see Piggy hiding. Piggy's got grab too. He can play close, kind of like in that little room to the left of where Django is and up above. He can play close in there. Just look for a grab to open the fight. You know, again, it's like the actual like micro of what they should do. I don't really care about too much. It's more just like how do your 2 flankers get caught there by like an EMP Reaper ult? What is Django doing in like coming back from the enemy team after having used the cooldowns? I don't know. Positions from Crimson and Jake. Oh, it's actually okay now that Piggy's swapped. Now that Piggy's swapped, it's kind of fine for Crimson and Jake to play further back and bait the engage super deep. Because Dallas don't want to spend time chasing Piggy, like on D.Va. They don't really want to spend much time chasing him. Like, because if they waste too many cooldowns on him, it's not an important enough kill. Because at the same time they do it, they'll get hit from the flank by Dante, by Happy, by Django, right? So there's a lot of pressure on them to close distance and go for the supports. And because they have that pressure, it's fine for Crimzo and Jake to play further back in this situation. Before, when you had Krees and you had Torbs and you had Zaryas and stuff, then you've got to play a little bit more aggressive, but in a setup that you can catch that engage. So now that Piggy swapped, it's kind of okay. So they're playing further back. But I still want... fine, but like, this is fine as long as Dante, Django, and Happy are in position. If Dante, Django, and Happy aren't in position to like counter engage on this, then they're in big trouble. You get an opening hack on Fearless, which is nice. Good trades, but again, it's like there's not really a whole lot you can do with it if you're Houston. Because Dallas's comp, it kind of started as like a disengage comp, right? Like it was, you have a lot of potential with it to go in and fight, to go in and do stuff, but like every single person on the team has an escape, right? So like the only person that doesn't really have an escape is like the Lucio, and he's got wall ride. I guess Monkey doesn't really have one either, but you see what I'm saying, right? Like, you know, like Sombra's got Translocator, Reaper's got shift, Moira's got shift, the tanks have their mobility cooldowns, Lucio has wall ride, right? Everyone on the team has a chance to disengage, which means that when you're initiating fights with this comp and you don't have the ults, you have so much freedom just to kind of walk up. Like, let's go and watch it actually. Like, they have so much freedom to do what they're doing now, which is all they're doing is just kind of walking up, you know, doing a bit of poke, doing a bit of spam, building those ults, and then as soon as the enemy try and engage on them, because they still have all those defensive cooldowns, they're able to just get out alive and take the coalescence ult charge, right? So like they all just disappear, you know. So like Dallas's comp is a disengage comp, right? They can disengage versus almost everything, and it's only when they go through multiple of those disengage cycles that they've finally built the ults that they need, you know, be those EMPs, coalescences, sound barriers, whatever, to do hard engages. What on earth is this engage? Having said that, even when they do have the ults to open a fight with, X6 just beat it, right? Even when they do have the ults to open the fight with, they still do need to close distance first, if possible, right? Like, it's not ideal that they beat from that far away and Fearless has to jump in from that far away. Not just because Fearless doesn't actually make it onto the supports, also because they've had to use all those cooldowns that we're talking about to just close distance. They haven't like cleared any space, which means that like Dante, Happy, and Django are still on the flank. And so I don't actually think this one's gonna. As soon as this beat times out, they're in a really awkward position. Unless they get a good EMP, they don't. He gets hacked. Yeah. Okay. So it's like, so having said all that stuff about this being a disengage comp, when they are making their engages, they have to actually clear something first. They have to actually get some control first. They can't afford to dive this far, right? They need to, like, Happy's here. It'd be awkward to clear him out, but you can still put some effort into it, right? If you ever find Dante as well, you know, you can put effort into clearing him out. Especially on this map too, on Volsky, you have a lot of potential to go like onto the Mega, where Doha is right now. You can just see him through the wall. You have a lot of potential just to like run around there and clear out the space. You don't really want to go for these lengthy engages like this, or at least if you are doing them, you might as well just speed boost him first and then go for the sound barrier. So I'm not sure, like, it's just kind of, Fearless not getting on the sports is awkward, but you could have just speed boosted with Matrix, then sound barriered, and then while the sound barrier is like active, you're getting the amp cooldown back and you're getting the Matrix back. So I'm not really too sure. Anyway, what we see happen is because Django, Dante, and Django are actually in a position this time, they're actually in position ready to counter this engage. Dante gets a critical hack onto Doha. The Doha can't EMP. Happy gets a nice copy as well, again onto Doha, so now you have two Sombras. And Django is in a position to counter engage. And because they've done that, did he? Did cancel it. Wow, okay. So the EMP got cancelled as well by Happy's like copy EMP. But no, yeah, so we can see because they didn't set up that engage and they just kind of jumped straight in. And they had to use the cooldowns like the monkey jump, right? To just do the engage, the fight kind of fails afterwards, right? Whereas if they can find a way to rotate first, save those cooldowns like the monkey jump, to kind of finish the fight rather than start the fight. So like they can instead use cooldowns like speed boost, they can do big rotations, they can use ultimates like sound barrier, ultimates like coalescence, that let them save other also more important cooldowns like the monkey jump. Or like same goes for even the opening ults. Like if you're rotating at the start of the fight, it means you can delay the sound barrier, use it later, get more value out of it. But you need to start the fight like that, because if instead you have to use those ults and those cooldowns at the start of the fight just to open the fight, then what it means is you're not going to be able to close that fight out with them, which is exactly what just happened, right? And they're doing the same thing here, where they're just kind of inting in main without actually setting it up, which again isn't the end of the world if all they're doing is walking up with Matrix and maybe speed boost, skirmishing, stabilizing, and then taking an engage with the ults. The problem is they're opening with the ults straight away. And again, I know on the first map we talked about how great it was that they were just inting in with the ults and not hesitating. But before you play that type of like super fast, super aggressive playstyle, you do actually have to set up some sort of positions, right? Like, because the comp are playing, they don't want to split up too much, but they can afford to make some sort of rotation to get close. You know? They can use just Lucio passive speed and a bit of Matrix to get close enough that when they do engage with this Reaper TP and with this coalescence, they can actually get more out of it, right? Instead, it's like Fearless has had to use his monkey jump and his monkey bubble just to dive in at the start of every fight. Again, it's not the end of the world because it means they can get control of point and they can use point to stabilize. But once again, it's like them engaging like that makes it much, much easier for Houston to get these counter engages where like just now with Dante hits an EMP, where Django is able to slam the backline, where Happy's able to hit Fielder on the flank, right? So if Dallas are taking their time and rotating first before they're taking these engages with the ults, then it's much more difficult for Dante to hit EMPs like this. It's much more difficult for Django to slam the backline. Much more difficult for Happy to just shoot Fielder and Hambin in the back, right? Okay, so Dallas kind of failed at the stabilizing, but again, the stabilizing is much easier if you start with just like a little rotation. It doesn't even have to be a big rotation. You could drop down, you could go like on the left of the screen right now, you could go through there, then come round to point from that direction, speed boost kind of like underneath point, and then take your engage from there, right? It doesn't have to be a big flip the map engage, or it doesn't have to be a big like flip the map rotation. It just has to be a way of kind of like saving the cooldowns as late as possible, right? So like through smart pathing and maybe a bit of Diva Matrix usage, maybe a bit of speed boost usage, you get close enough that you can delay the coalescence, delay the monkey jumps, delay like the EMPs or whatever you're using, right? So like it doesn't have to be a big flip the map engage, but obviously on this map you have a chance to do that, so you might as well take it. Nah, it's like, yeah, it doesn't have to be a big one. Again, it's about being able to squeeze out those resources for as long as possible. Because again, it's like thinking about this comp as a disengage comp. what that usually means is that you are using speed booster matrix to close distance and not use any CDs. So you still have the escape CDs to get out, right? If you're using the CDs like, Reaper TP, like Monkey Jump to get in, then you're not going to have them to get out, right? Which is the reason why Fearless and Doha and Sparkle and stuff are getting caught, because they weren't using the speed booster matrix to close distance. They were using their movement cooldowns and their escape cooldowns to close distance, right? But yeah. But much better from Outlaws on point B, because Dante, Happy, and Django are actually setting up to counter the engage. Actually setting up to get the counter slams. Dante setting up to get these hacks. Happy setting up to get the they're doing it. They're actually doing it. Happy setting up to get the counter engages and so on. Obviously, it is much easier defending point B Volskaya than it is in other places. But here you can see, finally, Fuel remember, oh, hey, we can rotate with this comp. So they make a rotation and immediately see Houston, they're forced to counter rotate. And now what this means is Fearless still has full cooldowns at this point. Look how close he is to the Ana now. Look how close he is to the enemy team. He still has full cooldowns, right? And that's obviously what they didn't have the previous times, because they were just jumping in main. Again, it's kind of a simple. This is more of just like a first reaction to like what I'm seeing rather than like a super in-depth analysis. But so because they actually rotate in close distance first before they engage, they get a much nicer engage. They just delete Jake. There's a nice counter MP from Dante, but like, remember as well, because they've done that and they still have some cooldowns, might be able to stabilize here. In fact, they kill Dante. They survive. They get their own EMP off. Primal's out as well. They only have one tick to play with, so it looks like they might just cap this here actually. Yes, very nice, very nice. Rotating, they finally remember to do it. And again, you can see, I'll just play the whole thing through. You can see not only how much easier it is for Dallas to get a nice engage because they're rotating first and they can delay those cooldowns like the Monkey Jump, but also it makes it more difficult for Houston to get the counter engages, right? It's very difficult for Dante to get a good EMP on this. Like, he gets a nice EMP, but it's difficult to follow up and he has to die for it, right? Whereas if Dallas were just engaging through main every time, it's much easier for Dante to set up that EMP in a really nice place, right? But because they do that rotation, because they delay the movement cooldowns, it's more difficult for Dante to get that good counter engage. Yeah. But like, I wouldn't say I like a comp better. I'd just say it's down to like team comp preference or like a hero preference. I would probably prefer to be the Echo team, just based on my experience. But if you have a really strong Kree player and your team knows how to like rotate and force brawls, then like you can get a lot out of the Kree. Like, Dante just shouldn't be dying in these fights. I don't know how. I think he dies to the Echo damage really, rather than the Sparkle's damage. Yeah, because like he's fighting here. Doha's, yeah. Oh my god, you can literally just about see that. But really difficult to see. But if you focus super hard on Dante's health here, you can see Doha's there on the off angle and gets like a massive like -1 onto him. So like the Echo can really help in those Tracer duels. But also because like Dallas don't have ults, Houston theoretically have the kind of stronger comp here. Like, you see that the way they're able to like rotate through the choke a bit easier because they have the Kree to help them brawl. Awkward for Houston here. Well, not that awkward, but like, you gotta be careful because like they're about to push out with Nano. Fearless is okay. That's I don't know. I don't know if that's the play. I don't know if that's the play to go for. But like, this dive banana is fine. You're not really expecting to get much more out of this, right? If you had a chance to set up Doha or Sparkle on a flank before you go for this, then for sure, commit harder, go for the kills. But I don't think they really had a chance to do that because they were kind of stabilizing after they'd lost players at gate. But Jex is dead. Yeah. So Jex is dead, so there's no heals for the DPS, so the DPS aren't able to set up, right? Because Jex had died at the gate. So this dive here from Fearless is fine, it's great. You know, you make loads of space, it gives Fielder a chance to heal up the team, it gives the team a chance to retake the positions that they've lost after that first kind of skirmish at the gate. But you don't need to commit and go for these kills at all. Like, I'd rather see him just like jump up on high ground to his top right, just kind of chill there. What on earth is happening here? Django goes for this super early dive, but his team aren't closing distance while he's doing it. As soon as Django jumps up here, the rest of the team has to walk in main. There's not really that much else to it. I don't have to walk in main, but they need to take better positions. Kind of do. Still not perfect. But again, this is the other reason why Echo's so good, right? Is because when Django goes in, you have so much burst damage in the backline that can immediately shut down a monkey, right? You see, like at the top of the screen, Django just gets absolutely deleted. Didn't even need the beam for it. And just so fast at reacting to players on the flanks too. So good. Sparkle did a very good job there as well of kind of scaring the backline. You know, even if he doesn't get this kill here, he goes for the distraction play at the same time that the rest of his team's clearing the monkey. So it's good. Now we'll see here. Whose grabs that? Is that Ambin's grab? Oh, very nice. Okay, so we're back to the situations on map 1 where Dallas are aggressively forcing fights with their cooldowns, which means that what a grab that is, right? 4 players forces out the rally reactively, so Jake can no longer use this rally to close distance and fight on point, right? Even if you don't get the kills, in this grab, Jake's rally has been forced defensively, which is good. You're happy with that, right? But also, and this is the other reason the Echo's really good, you have so much damage that you can put down onto grabs. Like these bombs that he throws in, the beam onto the Ana, perfect. Piggy even grabs reactively. So Hambin's grab, even if you don't get any kills out of this grab, Piggy is still grabbed reactively, right? So like no one on Fuel's backline have been threatened at all. Just because Hambin is forcing the fights with the grab early, you know? And again, this is like, obviously you're looking to do this whenever you're playing defense every time, but Dallas are doing it very well. Once again, Piggy gets split off. Piggy's so far up on point, actually, I didn't even see that. So Django's jumped behind the point. Piggy's walked onto the point for some reason. Phyllis jumps in, splits off the back line, and now Piggy has no heal, so the rest of the team just focus Piggy. Again, this is the default of this Monkey Zarya comp in action, right? Phyllis dives in, splits the heals, splits the range support, splits the damage from Kree. Crimzo tries to nano Piggy too and loses it. Oh, terrible. Nanoing Piggy would have been good if it came out instantly, but Crimzo he had it at the start of the fight. You see the way Jexay's not afraid to commit this rally as soon as he sees Piggy in an awkward position. Like the rally comes out just now, like he's literally just pulled it. And like the reason why is because someone on Dallas will be scouting. They'll see Piggy on point, they'll know the monkey's behind them. Fearless will be saying, like, now's the time he wants to go in, right? And there's no hesitation on Jexay with a rally. Because again, it's like, it doesn't matter what Dallas are using. Right now, they could use a grab, they could use a copy, a nano, what's the other one, a primal. It doesn't matter what they're using, but they're using something, right? In this situation, it's a rally. Like, it doesn't matter what they're using. What matters is that they're not hesitating. They as soon as they see like an opportunity, as soon as they have a solution, like they don't commit and they use whatever they can do to help it work out. So he just rallies, just walks onto Piggy and stuns him and kills him. Bullseye better. Also, it's like it's awkward for Anas to heal Wrecking Balls sometimes, and like unless you're cycling nanos with the Ana on the monkey, like you need the Ana. Like, does she do a whole lot? I don't know. Really nice dive staging. Like, this is what Houston were never able to do on their attack too, right? They take high ground, they go immediately with the nano, there's no hesitation, but at the same time, they've set up a flanker, right? And like, the problem with Houston was, every time Dante was trying to set up a flank, he was getting contested by Sparkle, and he was never able to push Sparkle out. So like, what needed to happen? Like, did Dante need more resources, more heals? Did he need someone to go with him? Maybe 2 people to go with him? And if you're sending 2 people to go with Dante to clear out Sparkle, you might as well just send the whole backline and rotate that Brig, the Ana, the Zarya, so on, like on that left side on the attack. So it's like, it's just funny to see Houston struggle and just like flounder for like over 5 minutes trying to attack point B because they were never able to set up an off angle. and they were never able to deny one of those angles from Fuel. Because like here's the thing as well, like when Fuel were defending, they always had 2 angles, 3 angles to annihilate Houston whenever Houston were walking through the choke. Whereas here, and I know this is kind of like a snowball situation, they just won first fight, but Houston had plenty of time to set up for this fight. But here it's like, because Doha, I mean, he is Sombra, so he's invisible, is much easier for him to get on the flank. But because Doha set up the flank, because Sparkle, who's also playing the left side, is denying Houston an alternate angle on the engage, it means that Dallas are confident walking through the choke. It means Dallas are confident just walking forward and using ults, because they've already played those angles a little bit. And like, yeah, someone gets the left side tons easier. It's like I was talking a little bit about like solutions the other day, and like how you have solutions based on the position, solution based on the ultimates, right? And you have to have both of those things. It's not really like one or the other. And maybe I didn't make that clear enough when I was explaining it, but like, because Dallas first took positions, it now means this nano here on the monkey is a great solution, you know? Because but like here's the thing, both Sparkle and Doha are here too, right? It's not just Doha, like Sparkle was able to get here as well. So there was no one was even contesting Sparkle on that right side, left side, whatever you want to call it. Fuel did just die here, which he shouldn't. I don't really know what happened with him. Maybe he just overpeaked. Nice attempt at a high noon from, just going back a little bit. Nice attempt at this high noon from Happy. And Fearless just like smacks him back with like the with the last second. That's quite funny. Get the kill. Nice EMP from Doha. There's not really much more to say. It's just like the way that they're starting the fights is so much better, because they're being aggressive at the start of the fights. And again, I had a really good question in the Discord like yesterday about like the cause and effect of playing aggressive, and like are aggressive teams better because they like find more solutions, or is it like the other way around? Like, do they have more solutions because they play aggressive? And it's a mix of both, right? Because Dallas were playing aggressive and they didn't hesitate in taking control of that flank with the Tracer Sombra, and they didn't hesitate with putting Hambin up on high ground and using the nano onto Fearless. They had the solution, right? Whereas with Outlaws, they're hesitating all the time, so they're not they're not getting those positioning solutions. They're not getting those ult solutions because they're hesitating, right? So it is a mix between the both. Like aggressive teams, like aggressive teams are aggressive because they're better at getting solutions. But being aggressive means you get more solutions in the first place. Is basically what I'm trying to say. So yeah, very happy with Fuel so far. They've done really, really well. Yes, no, that's a much better way of putting it, actually. Just recently, it's like it's the fact they don't hesitate rather than the fact that they're like it's not just pure aggression. It's the fact that as soon as they have a chance to take a flank, as soon as they have a chance to use an ultimate, they don't hesitate. You know, and like the most important thing about the not hesitating thing as well is that they're not hesitating to use resources in duels. If Sparkle needs 2 armor packs and like 2 armor packs and like some shots from Anna, or he needs 2 armor packs and like Doha to pop up next to him on a flank, if he needs those things to take control of the flank, then Fuel will commit them straight away. And like that's the other thing as well. It's not just about moving into position fast, it's about not hesitating at committing the resources. Because if your Tracer gets 2 armor packs immediately and the enemy Tracer gets 1 like 3 seconds too late, then obviously your Tracer is going to take the space, and then you're going to have the solution based on the positions. So it's yeah. So it's about not hesitating taking their positions, not hesitating at committing the resources that you need to take their position. Yep. And they don't really play it too much, but this is I really like this TP. They almost catch them with the wall too. Oh, that's really nice. I really like that opening. I mean, Fuel's TP usage was really good, and I like the way that they've reacted to like not having like a super strong Kree player by just like playing the symbol. How is Doha getting into these positions? Look at him. Again, Fuel just commit. They play like they just don't care. They just go in. Doha's position here. He's like, if he doesn't get cleared, and I don't think they can. I mean, obviously, he's just been flashbang headshot, so maybe they do kill him. But like, if they don't clear Doha here, Doha just freezes them on the off angle, and Dallas win the fight. He ice blocks. Yeah, it's done. Man, so good, so good, so good. Like again, like I'm surprised that Fuel is so good at the rush. And again, it's mostly because they just there's no hesitation on the ults, no hesitation on Doha taking that off angle where he can get the freeze. Fearless. Also, you can tell just from the health pools that a lot of the micro is better, right? Because if you look at Dallas, if you compare the health pools, right? Dallas's health pools, they're all taking a bit of damage. You know, Fearless takes a bit, Doha takes a bit, Hanbin takes a bit, you know, Jexer takes a bit. Whereas if you look at Outlaws, Jangu is the only person on the team taking damage, right? He's the only person on the team taking damage, and he just gets ripped to shreds. So like, Fielder has a much easier time than Crimzo here, right? Because everyone on his team's taking a bit of damage because they're all fighting, they're not going too hard. Whereas on Outlaws, Jangu's the only one taking damage, so Crimzo just has a terrible time. Because it's super difficult to pocket one person as Batiste and keep them alive. But anyway, like the reason why Jangu's taking so much damage really is because Doha's so quick at taking the angle. Very nice. Again, they're just controlling the tempo so hard with it. Oh my god, they do it again. They do it again. Like, okay, Houston's positions here are, I mean, they're okay. They're holding a corner, but they're kind of shit. And what are they going to get done with this? Like nothing, right? They're just sitting, shooting, spamming. And Dallas, on the other hand, there's no hesitation with the ults, right? Who knows what this Diva Bomb's going to get? Maybe nothing, right? But they're throwing it in early. Because they're looking aggressively, they're throwing it in early. They probably did see Jangu. Like, Jangu looks like he's quite far up here. He might be jumping. He might not actually be that far. But Jangu looks like he's quite far up here. Like, they might have seen that and called for the Diva Bomb. But, like, even if they did that, the impressive thing is that they're ready. They're ready to go in with the TP. They're ready to speed boost in. I guarantee you they're just going to run straight in after it. Again, they just go straight in after it. Dante gets saved by the enemy Maywall. Jangu gets split off in the room. They just run and kill him. Fielder has amp matrixed in main, just in case. Like, you know, like again, not afraid to make that commitment. Piggy's ult. When does this ult come out from Piggy? Oh, it comes out. Yeah, so Piggy has to hide, and he comes out with it. Can't really do a whole lot with it because again, and here's another really important thing about teams that play these types of comps well and play fast tempo well is that if you look at Fielder's positioning. He runs in with him. He rotates with him. He's not anchoring. The only players that like play split are the ones like Diva that can actually survive doing it, right? So like, if you're a support player in this meta, do not anchor. Rotate with your team. Because you're again, it's like we're talking about leapfrogging from position to position to position, and then stabilizing. They were starting in main, then they took a fight and chase a target into that mega room on the left. Because Fielder goes with them, they can now kind of leapfrog into that position and stabilize in there. Yeah, so really good. Again, just complete tempo control here. So coming up on the corner here, what do they have? They have Shadow. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway, really nice TP here to close distance. Again, it's like TPs. The reason we haven't seen TP used like this that much is like it is because it's kind of difficult to coordinate it. It is because Sims struggle to use it because DPS players are usually like too dumb to use it. But it is also because like if teams are focusing on it, you should be able to kind of just blow up the TP pretty fast. What Fuel are doing really well is that they're TPing in positions where Houston aren't able to destroy it, or when they are TPing straight onto them like they are now, they're doing it after they've fought a little bit, right? So like they've traded some cooldowns. Now Houston are like, oh, you know, we're screwed. We have to back up. Now while they're backing up, they then chase them with the TP. Because they're chasing with the TP while Houston are kind of in their downtime, Houston aren't in a position to blow up that TP straight away, right? So again, really nice from Dallas. And they don't get anything else. Where did those ults go? Where did those ults go? The TP onto them. I mean, okay, so Phyllis gets rocked out of Shadow, and then Jexer gets flashbanged out of Beat. Perfect. But honestly, I don't care. I literally don't care because even though those two ults failed, they've done so much with this play. They forced out. Is that a high noon? Oh no, they didn't use a high noon, but they did use a sound barrier. They still get a kill onto Piggy. So nice. Oh my god, and then they just leave. Oh no, Doha gets caught. Oh fuck. Wait. Oh no, this was almost like the funniest fight in Overwatch 6 so far this season, I think. That's actually amazing. Like If Doha TP's out here, this would have just been fucking amazing, because it's like they chase them around the corner, they TP onto them, they just donate Shadow and donate Sound Barrier, get them both cancelled by stuns, and then they just leave. And oh my god. If Doha managed to TP out with the team here, this would have been absolutely perfect. Like, you quickly go in, get 2 of your ults cancelled, but kill Piggy, and then you're out straight away again after the ults have failed. Like, that would have been an absolutely perfect fight, and they all speed this out together as well and reset. That would have been an absolutely perfect fight if Doha had TP'd out. Oh no, that's so sad. That would have been one of the most clinical things I think we would have ever seen in like Overwatch League. Oh man, that's made me really sad. But, oh god, that's so good. Again, it's like with the TPs, they're doing them in positions where it's awkward for the team to destroy them instantly. And like they're doing it so fast that, like, I don't know, if you just don't have a chance to destroy it, they come out straight away. And they use it to close so much distance and their control. Oh my god. They're doing these disengages so well too, because Dante's above them, drops them with the thing, and they're immediately out again. And Fielder, no hesitation with this Amp Matrix. Every ult this team has, everything, like, Fielder's 97% when this fight starts. There's even wait after he's built it. As soon as it's built, the ult's out, right? And again, it's like, there's no hesitation, they're countering the aggression. And now Houston, they don't know how good this Amp Matrix is, right? Like, they don't know how good this Amp Matrix is. They don't know if there's a fire strike coming for them. They don't know if there's, you know, just shit tons of damage about to come through onto them. But as soon as they hear the ult, they have to think about it, they have to react to it. And it will delay their push, delay the aggression that they're trying to do, because they don't really know what's happening. And you see Jangu kind of, you can see it, you can literally see it. Like, the Dante copies. Because Dante copies, you think, oh, Houston, it's their time to go, it's their time to int, it's their time to run in. It doesn't matter what it gets, it's their time to go in. And you can see, as soon as this comes out from Jangu, or as soon as this ult comes out from Fielder, you can see Jangu do this little sidestep, right? There's a little sidestep, because he doesn't know what's going on. Because he's like, oh my god, like, what's happening? He doesn't know if there's a fire strike coming from him. He doesn't know if there's, you know, just like Diva missiles and Mei headshot and, you know, BAP shots coming from him. And he delays it a little bit. And he just gets blocked out of shadow. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. And Jangus looks like he's still about to get caught. He does. Again, no hesitation on the sim wall and the mail, right? They build them during these trades, right? And you can guarantee that, like, and they build them at basically the same time. But the fact that there's just no hesitation on them is what's so good, right? Like, Doha thinks he can catch Jangu and Piggy with the ult, so he just pulls it straight away. And it just means it's a clear signal to the rest of the team. It's a clear signal to the rest of the team how aggressive the team's playing too. And remember too that, like, ults are important, but sometimes cooldowns are more important. Sometimes your rein shield health and your Diva matrix, and like, I can't think of another important cooldown right now. Like May Wall, May Ice Block, I guess. Like BAP Lamp especially. Like, sometimes your cooldowns, and health pools too. I forgot about health pools, right? Sometimes your cooldowns and health pools, like your non-ult resources, are more important than the ults, right? It doesn't matter if you're using what's called Mail. It doesn't matter. Yeah, like Moira heals. I mean, like, they're not playing Moira at the moment, but like, yeah, like all of those types of resources, right? Yeah, amps, nades, everything, right? Those resources are more important than your ults. They're more important than your back windows, more important than your symbols, your mails. Because that's what each player on your team is individually playing around. If your Rein has his health pool, and he has his shield health, and he has his charge, and he has his fire strike, then he can play aggressive and do what he wants, right? If he doesn't have any of those things, but you have a mail, it doesn't mean your Rein's able to follow up on it, right? Because your Rein's playing around his own cooldowns. If you are leading fights with the ults and you're not hesitating with the ults, it means your team has a very clear idea of what cooldowns they need to use. It has a very clear idea of, more importantly, what cooldowns they can save, right? Everyone on Dallas right now knows exactly what what cooldowns, like what personal cooldowns they need to use, right? And because there's no hesitation with the Amp Matrix, right? There's no hesitation with the Amp Matrix, so every team knows they can focus the team down. They don't need to speed boost out. They don't need to, you know, waste Matrix trying to eat, like, the Echo fire strikes, you know? The Mei doesn't need to waste wall, right? Trying to counter the Echo. But I think that's probably the best example from this one here actually, because it comes out straight away. Doha knows he doesn't need to use wall, right, on this copy, which means he still has the wall for when they push now, right? So like it's, if you're committing with the ults early, if you're using them early and you're not hesitating, the rest of the team's able to save the actually important cooldowns, right? Like, you know, the way that Fielder still has lamp. So like, even though you think, oh, they just threw 3 ults out, you know, the window, the symbol, the mail, because they threw them out and they didn't hesitate. What it means is they still have the cooldowns that each individual player on the team needs to use to chase down targets and kill them, right? So because they're committing so fast and so early with the cooldowns, it just unlocks so many opportunities because they're committing so fast and so early with the ults. It unlocks so many opportunities for them later on in the fight to use their personal cooldowns for, right? Whereas like what we're seeing from Outlaws is, because they're hesitating, they're using their personal cooldowns, and then when the ults are coming out later, you know, Dante doesn't have his stickies, he doesn't have his flight, you know? Like maybe the Creed doesn't have his flashbang, maybe Django's, you know, half HP on his Rein shield, that type of thing, right? So like that is why Dallas are getting so much out of the aggressive play. Yeah. Because I think it's a really important thing to understand, especially with like Rein comps. I mean, really all comps at the moment, because all comps at the moment are kind of focused around cooldowns, like health pools and stuff. Is that your ultimate your non-ult resources, your health pools, you know, your just normal cooldowns, they're more important. Dallas absolutely bodied them in the Rein matchups just because they were not hesitating when they were going in. They were not hesitating with the ultimates. Again, like, I want to see this Diva Bomb one more time, because this was just fantastic, this fight. Where is it? Like, you lose Doha out of the gate, because Doha goes for like an aggressive Doha goes for like an aggressive flank with a Mayfreeze, gets punished for it. Again, that's fine. Sparkle doesn't hesitate with the window. It's not a fantastic window, or it's not, sorry, not a fantastic wall. Fielder doesn't hesitate with the window. Fearless doesn't hesitate with the shatter. But obviously, Outlaws are in a bad position to get shattered there. But like the really amazing thing is this here. Jexy is very obviously calling to his team that he has sound barrier and the team can play aggressive with it. So instead of the sound barrier getting forced, as a result of the Sig ult, Alice playing aggressively forces the Sig ult, right? And there's a very, very big difference between those things. Because Dallas playing aggressively forces Piggy to ult, no one on Outlaws is really in a position to kind of follow up on it. Whereas if Piggy was able to set up the ult when he wanted to, it means that Outlaws are able to get angles on the ult. It means that Outlaws are able to get in a position to kill those targets. Like Jex is commenting about the beat. The team knows they have beat, so they're playing aggressively using that beat. And then when the fight goes to point afterwards, and this, I'd really, really like this. Again, Hanbin has the Diva Bomb. What are you going to use the Diva Bomb for? To fucking throw it in there, you know? They just go in. Again, ultimates force defensively from Houston. The sound barrier defensively. The symbol defensive. Yeah? And Dallas are just absolutely bodying, like they're just absolutely bodying them by doing that, right?